All right, I'm going to get to the phone lines, 888-480-JOHN. Our lines are jammed right now. When they open up, I'll let you know. Let's get to Patrick in Fort Lauderdale. Patrick, you're live. Line 1.
John. Hey, John. Good morning.
Thank you.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with you.
Of course.
The facts don't matter anymore because the laws don't matter anymore. Please don't blame the people, and I'm going to say why. The most despised man in the country yesterday was Mike Pence. I told you he could not be trusted.
Yep.
I told you this was going to happen. In the next 2 weeks, the most despised person in this country going forward is going to be Donald Trump because he did nothing when very serious people who have been persecuted by this machine, like Flynn, McEnany, and Powell, told him to act, and he did nothing. Now, none of that matters anymore because it's over. This is my suggestion going forward. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not in that industry anymore. People who have investment vehicles and instruments like 401ks, retirement accounts, things like that, I suggest you look at the cost of cashing them out because now that they control all three houses of government, they are going to start writing legislation to confiscate these things and write people coupons, meaning interest payments. So they're going to take your real money. They're going to pay you back with a fraction of your money until they choose to stop paying you. Also, refinance your house right now. I did it with your friend Livingston. They did a freaking unbelievable deal for me. Got it done fast. If you live in a red state like Florida, like I do, maybe we're going to survive a little longer until the powers that be get to those people in charge of this state. And that's just it. I hate to be a Debbie Downer. I hate to tell people this, but this is the new reality. And that's all I got to say, John.
Patrick, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And Patrick, if there's ever a day at 6:30 you don't call me, I'm going to think you're dead. So keep calling, all right? Let's get to Carol in Maryland on line 3. Carol, you're live.
Hi, John. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Yes, Carol.
I need to let you know, first off, I was there. But before I talk about what I saw yesterday, I need to let you know that, the election was stolen in the darkness of night.
Yes.
The election was confirmed in the darkness of night.
Yes.
And democracy died, and our republic died in the darkness of night last night.
Yes.
So I was there yesterday. The mood of the crowd, very different than the mood that you've seen at other Trump events. Even very different than, I drove up to the Philadelphia rally 2 days after the election. I was one of about 50 people outside the convention center. There was so much hope and love, even at that event where we had Black Lives Matter people screaming at us. But yesterday, that people were angry. People are coached up. People know what happened. Mm-hmm. And at what point do people have to, or how much longer do we have to take this? Mm-hmm. And I disagree with you. People are angry and people want action. And I don't know how you go forward from here, but I know how you don't go forward. You don't lecture us on this was not a good look yesterday. We know that it wasn't a good look. But guess what? What else is there to do? Because right now, just like your last caller said, it's over. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Now, look, I understand your frustration, and I get it. 4 years of phony investigations, impeachment, phone calls with Ukraine, Russia collusion, lies. But Patrick nailed it. I mean, at the end of the day, Trump didn't do anything. He didn't name a special prosecutor. He didn't do the things he had to do. At the end of the day, these two candidates in Georgia, all they had to do was make one statement. Hey, I'm with the president on January 6th. His election got stolen. I'm going to fight for him. They said that a month ago, they win. 100,000 people didn't turn out on January 5th that voted for Trump on November 3rd. Election lost. So, Carol, I understand your frustration. And that's people are upset. And certainly, I really thought that Pence's letter yesterday at 1 o'clock was one of the most despicable acts I've ever seen. And
yes, and as someone who was in the crowd when that letter went out, that was a trigger. People started crying. People were angry.
Yeah.
People were walking toward the Capitol. I was
Right.
walking toward the Capitol.
Right.
I beg to differ with a lot of the media press. You know, the majority of the people, and I mean the large majority.
Yeah, like
of the
99%.
people
Like
were walking.
like
They were
99% of the people were peaceful. I mean, you got to remember that I was just watching on TV. I'm in Atlanta, but the rally started. It was phenomenal. I mean, there was 600,000-700,000 people there, and it was peaceful, and it was it was a great rally.
And unbelievably diverse. It was so many people. First off, the word about the CCP is out and out in force.
Mm-hmm.
But so many Latinos were there. So many African Americans were there praying. So many Asian Americans were there praying.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such a shame that this happened. But what I don't need is someone lecturing me that it's not a good look. What I
get
need
it.
is someone to tell me how we're going to fix this.
Well, we got look.
I don't see how we're going to fix this.
We have to go for. We have a movement. Okay, that doesn't dissipate because of one incident, right?
But our movement is being silenced by big tech.
Well, it was certainly silenced. It was certainly silenced
by
yesterday.
media.
We have to figure out the pathway forward. All right. I didn't expect this yesterday. I knew these two. I am not shocked that these two Senate candidates got beat. I've been saying it for 7 weeks. They were going to lose, right? And I told them what to do in order to win. They didn't do it. And it's not like me that told them. My callers told them. They just told them. They don't care. So it is what it is. But now we have to go forward. We got 2 years. We got to go forward. And we got to be able to mobilize and do the right thing. I mean, that's what we have to. We have to mobilize.
Our republic died in the cover of darkness, just like the election was stolen. And I appreciate your time, John.
Thank
I
you,
appreciate the sacrifices you've made.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you. All right, thank you, Carol. Let's get to Mary in Richmond on line 2. Mary, you're live.
Good morning, John. How are you today?
Never better. Thank you.
I hope your holidays were wonderful.
They were, Mary. Thank you.
But the only statement I have is that as I was watching on television, as I saw all those congressmen and congresswomen crawling on their hands and knees, cowering like cowards, where's my protection? Where's my protection? I wonder how many of them now are going to change their mind about defunding the police, because it was only the police that were there to protect them.
I mean, I have to agree with you, Mary, on that one, 100%.
I mean, it was funny to see them in their fancy suits.
I mean, I'm not supposed to laugh, right? But I'm not supposed to laugh, but Mary.
Yeah.
I mean, look at them. I see a picture of one guy with a huge hazmat cover on his face or something. Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty sad situation yesterday. Saying that I shouldn't be laughing about it. I'm sorry.
Well, you always heard that statement. Not in my backyard.
Right.
It's all right for them to invade the other federal buildings in other different states and everything, but all of a sudden
they want to defund the police until they personally need the police, and then they don't want to defund their police, but they want to defund it for you and I and leave us defenseless, right? Mary, thank you. It's good to hear from you, Mary. Good to hear from you.
Well,
All right, I got some lines open, 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. Let's get to Ned in Glen Allen. Ned, line 1, you're live.
Hey, John, how you doing? Listen, I do disagree with you this morning, but I can't prove anything, and no one can. The truth will come out eventually as to what happened yesterday, but there are some facts. Fact number 1 is Pence knew what he was doing at 1 o'clock. There's no way he didn't know what his letter was going to do to all of us, because we were counting on him to do the right thing.
Yep.
If you then listen to the speeches when they reconvened last night, it was very convenient that they already had planned speeches, fake outrage, and they concentrated on what had just happened. Somebody knew this was coming, and that's my view. The Capitol Police allowed the demonstrators in, and then one of them, I just watched the video, it's disturbing, shot the woman through a door. She was unarmed. There was no reason to fire his weapon. But the fact is, there's no outrage. There's no outrage. There's no riots. There's no burning. There's no naming the policeman, doxing his house, demanding that he be arrested. Nothing has happened. And now for the investigation. There will be none. None on voter fraud, none on what happened yesterday, because the feckless, spineless Republicans cowered again. That was a good word that lady used. And my final thing is Lindsey Graham. The amnesty, backstabbing, self-serving rhino that he is showed his true colors last night. And all he's thinking about is those 11 million workers that are going to be legalized. Now, remember, this is the same Senate that voted for amnesty. The Rubios, the Grahams, the McCains of the world. And that's what they're looking at. With Biden, they're going to get it. You're going to have 11 new voters. You cannot control the voter fraud. Look what happened in Georgia. You say it's turnout, I say it's fraud. We can argue about that, and there'll be no investigation, but it was fraud. They did it.
Well, I don't know. I don't have the facts of what the fraud might or might not have been on January 5th. Okay, but I do know. Look, I've been here eight weeks. The election in Georgia on November 3rd got stolen from Donald Trump. He probably won the state by 150,000 votes, maybe more. So on that, I'm on the record, because that evidence I've seen, and you know, Ned, I don't like to shoot from the hip. You know that. My audience knows that. I'm not going to give you nonsense. I'm not going to give you lies. I'm not going to do the Sean Hannity thing and cheerlead. As you know, I don't do that. I tell you the truth. I don't know about the 5th. I'm not saying there's no evidence. Facts haven't come out, so I don't know. But what I do know is that on November 3rd, the 16 electoral votes in Georgia got stolen from Donald Trump because of blatant election fraud on a number of counts. Did they do it again on the 5th? Probably. I'm sure that's an outcome. But it doesn't matter. They're never going to investigate that either.
They're going to do it again.
We never had a hearing. I tell you why I'm frustrated. And I get people, you know, they don't want to hear it. I'm frustrated because I honestly believed that yesterday was going to be the turning point, that we were going to get 24 hours of debate. We were going to get the evidence out. This evidence has never been presented to anybody in any court anywhere. And I can't talk to Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona. I can't talk to those states. I don't know. I only have what you have. But I can't talk to Georgia because I have been here and busted my tail for 2 months. And the fraud in Georgia on November 3rd is horrific. Did they do it again on the 5th? We were saying it. They were going to do it again. Drop boxes, ballots that people are finding ballots in Starbucks, for heaven's sake. I just can't comment on it right now because we have to wait. But these Republicans are going to convene on Monday. They control the General Assembly, and they're going to have some massive changes here. We'll have to find out. But I was disappointed, Ned, because instead this thing was getting litigated at 2 in the morning or something. I wanted prime time. Here's what happened in Georgia. Here's what happened in Wisconsin. Pence would have had enormous pressure on him then to kick those 5 states back to the General Assemblies. And yet it all fell apart yesterday. Loeffler caved. Pence caved, and we got nothing again. Again, we get nothing. Again, we get nothing. There's the frustration. We get nothing again, so what do? After 4 years of this nonsense, again, we get nothing. We still haven't had a hearing, folks. There's still not one hearing in one court about this voter fraud, and that's why Trump is frustrated. People that say, oh, this is staining Trump's legacy forever. That's baloney. Okay, this is a national movement. Okay, things went south yesterday. Facts haven't come out. I'm sure Antifa's involved in it in some way. I'm sure there's other people. Look, you have 600,000 or 700,000 people. You don't know who's there. That's a lot of people. So, Ned, hang in there. We'll find out. Thank you. Let's get to Tom in Virginia Beach, line 3. Tom, you're live. Tom, Virginia Beach, line 3. Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, John, this is Tom. Yeah, I was there yesterday. And,
what happened?
Well, you know, went there with my daughter. We got off at the Smithsonian, went down to the Trump rally, but from the Smithsonian you could see that at the Capitol there was a presence there already, very small, nothing organized. Went to the Trump rally, lots of people were starting to leave, probably halfway through, and then when Trump was done, everyone marched down there, down Pennsylvania Avenue, down the mall. So when I got there, what I noticed is people would come up and the crowd just kept disappearing. I think most people just came down and left. Through all this, I met people from Atlanta, New York, Connecticut, Kansas City, California. Can you believe that? California. Saw people from Pennsylvania, Texas. People drove a long way to be part of this. And I think while they're there, they're not going to give up the chance to at least go by the Capitol and say, hey, we don't like what's going on.
Of course.
But it was not. There's nothing organized. It was anticlimactic.
Right.
As the crowd was moving from the Trump rally down towards the Capitol, word came in that Pence had sold them out.
Right.
A lot of dejection amongst the people. And it took the wind out of it. When people got down there, there was no organized chance.
Right.
People just made their presence there. It was peaceful from everything outside. I can't vouch for what happened inside, what happened on the other side of the building. But even the people that went up on the scaffolding, when the police came out and told them to get down, they went down. There was no violence. There was no burning. There was no looting. There was no attacking.
There was no destruction of property.
No destruction of property. It was peaceful people who'd had enough, came out and just want to make their presence known.
Right.
And say that you're ignoring us is not going to sit well.
Right.
But there was no violence in the people. In fact, as we were leaving, we parked out at Pentagon City. When we went back to Pentagon City, the first time we did this back in early December, there was only a few of us there. It was almost like, we're getting the stink eye for wearing anything that related to Trump.
Mm-hmm.
This time, 80% of the place was people with, Trump gear on.
Mm-hmm.
And it was peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
There was no agitating. The crowd, this is a peaceful group of people who had enough of being ignored, and yet they were still peaceful. There was agitators out there, but no one was responding out in that crowd.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. Thank you for that firsthand. And look, there was a lot of frustration, and Pence lit the match, no question about it. And so, again, the facts are not out. We don't know who got in there. We don't know what happened. People have been arrested. We got to wait for the facts to come out. And I think when they come out, it's going to be different. But up until shots. Look, when shots are fired, it's just bad. Okay, it's things go south, right? But up until that point, I thought it was a magnificent rally, and you could understand that people were upset. I mean, they went there to get a fair hearing on this election, and Pence pulled the rug out from under them.
Yep.
So, the media narrative that President Trump went to the rally and egged them on is despicable because it's a lie. It's just another lie. He laid out his case and said, hey, go to the Capitol and protest. That's what you do in America. You go and you protest if you're upset. And when Pence sent that letter out, he just lit a match. And there was no reason to do that. That's the thing. That letter stopped the seriousness of the debate, because then all you're focusing on is, well, this doesn't matter, it's done. And so he ended any opportunity. To me, the worst case we could have got out of this is that we had 24 hours of the evidence laid out for all the world to see. Mm-hmm. And so they don't, and so you don't have this again. And that was squashed yesterday. We never even got that. So we got nothing. That adds to their frustration. Tom, thank you. Tom, thanks for that first-hand allocation. I got to stretch here a little bit, Kara, because we got to get these callers. It was a tough day yesterday for a lot of us. Let's go to John in Boston, Massachusetts. John, line 2, you're live.
John, how we doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. Listen, I just wanted to know, how come AOC and the squad didn't have the social workers there yesterday, trying to relax the masses, John, as they were, trying to get into to have their voices heard. I just think it's real comical, because these people, the only time they want to move and call for the police is when the fire is set under their ass, John. Really, and it's really sad to watch. And I'm tired of the pearl clutching going on from the mainstream media, and then to watch these politicians, these hacks, get out there last night once they reconvened and sit there and preach that they're holier than thou. Now all of a sudden, everybody's got to keep their mouths shut. and after we watched for 6 months, John, the past 6 months, police were told to stand down. Literally had their hands tied behind their backs. The guns never came out of the holsters, John. When Black Lives Matter and Antifa were marching, burning down, tearing down statues, nobody did anything. And you know what? I hated to see what happened yesterday, but unfortunately, now they're going to paint the whole MAGA movement with this broad brush.
Yep.
After we've been told with Black Lives Matter, it's mostly peaceful.
Yep.
It's just a few, a few people within the crowd that are causing all the problems.
Yep.
Now they're going to paint the whole MAGA movement,
John,
with
that's
this broad brush.
John, you hit the nail on the head. Everything you said is spot on. Thank you for that, because I'm over my time here. But thank you for that. But you're right. We're going to get painted in a way that is not it's not accurate. I mean, it was 700,000 people there yesterday. 99.9% of them totally peaceful, totally respectful, as always, as we always are. And the rally was put on by those two ladies. I can't think of their name right now. I got to go, but they're totally class acts. And and this Air Force veteran, I understand, a report came out. She was shot. She was unarmed. So nobody was armed. I don't know why you're shooting people. I mean, could you imagine if it was one of the Antifa people got shot that were unarmed? I mean, it would be all over the news. There'd be riots in the streets, right? But again, the facts are not out, and I'm a fact guy. Let's just wait till they come out. But John, you're absolutely spot on. I mean, at the end of the day, this is not helpful, right? It's not helpful. I mean, you can argue with me and say, justification. I get it. I get the frustration. It was not helpful. And I'm not lecturing anybody. I'm just giving you the facts. But let's wait till they come out, and we'll see what happens. Meantime, Mike Pence done, and he sold us out. At the end of the day, if you want to, he sold us out at 1 o'clock in a day that will go down in infamy in history. Mike Pence sold us out at 1 o'clock. John Fredericks Radio Network. Let's get to line 3, Chris in Fairfax. Chris, you're live. Line 3. All right, let's go to. Hey, Chris, go ahead. You're live.
Hey, so I'm actually in. I don't know this area at all because I came up for the march.
You're in the Washington D.C. metro area.
Yes, I am. I think I'm at Arlington. I think.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Loud and clear.
Okay. Well, so I did go to the march yesterday. I drove in from Georgia, listening to the election results the whole way.
Yes.
Okay. And it was a wonderful march. It seemed peaceful, everything about it. But there was, to me, like this undercurrent. And I think people are rightly ticked off about everything. Everybody that I talked to, one of the guys I stood next to was like a 30-year-old cop from Miami, all these people who have flown in. And I asked people, why are you here? And everybody's like, we just want to stand in our support. We don't know what to do. We hope we can make an impact and that give these senators courage to do the right thing. Anyway, so we left the Washington Monument and walked up the street to the Capitol. And this is actually the first time I've ever been to Washington, D.C. I'm 60 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so I go around, I walk up to the Capitol, and I was kind of surprised that we were able to get up that close. And I'm looking at these kids climbing up the scaffolding, and in my mind, I'm like, I can't believe they're letting them climb on this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the weirdest thing.
Mm-hmm.
The cops weren't doing anything. Even when the kids were like climbing up on the roof, I'm like, what? How is this happening? It was just bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's all I want to say. I kind of got out there early. One of my friends called me, and she's like, "Do you know that there's violence going on?" And I didn't see any violence at the time. And she's like, "Oh yeah, they've gone through the barricades." And I got off the phone and I told one of the people I was standing next to, I'm like, "They said we've gone through the barricades," and he said, "Oh yeah, we're inside the barricades." I'm like, "What? I didn't know that." So anyway, I kind of went back on the other side of that lake thing and watched for a little bit and talked to some more people and left. But it was just the saddest thing of all is, like you're saying, that evidence is not heard. And I'm just so frustrated. I feel, I don't know what to say about it. I want peaceful protest, but I think people are at the point where we've tried everything. I sat in that hearing at Georgia last week. I listened to every single word of it. And we were like, who's going to listen? And the biggest loss, as you just said a minute ago, was that the evidence has not been put out there.
Well, that was the victim of yesterday was the truth, right?
Exactly.
I mean, the 700 people showed up yesterday. 700,000 people showed up yesterday to support the president and to support a fair hearing and to support the truth. And the victim of that is that never happened. And then at 3 in the morning, nonsense, right? So I'm less interested in what where was a trap set, what I mean, look, and there's no question Antifa infiltrated it, and those facts will come out. And I don't like speculating until we have facts. But here's what we do know. Some poor woman got shot. She was unarmed. That's not good, right? We can all agree on that. That's a human being that got shot as a result of what happened. That's not a good thing. We can agree on that, right? It's fact. Fact number 2, we never got a hearing. We can agree on that. That's a fact. Fact number 3, Mike Pence sent a letter at 1 o'clock. Screwed us all. Fact 3. Yep. These are facts that are you cannot change those. Anything else, we have to wait.
Yeah. Bad
right?
day.
Yep.
Bad.
All right, thank you.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And Chris, welcome to Washington. Thank you very much. First time been there, 60 years old. 60 years young, I should say, Chris. All right, let's get to Mike in Florida, line 4. Mike, you're live.
Hey, John. Thanks for having me on.
Yes.
Hey, I just want to say, we could be mad at the Democrats. You could be mad at anybody or everybody. But in the reality, the end of Trump came from the Republicans, right? It's Mitch McConnell and Mike Pence.
Yep.
They changed the rules.
Yep.
Mike Pence wrote that letter with some sort of BS constitutional coverage. But look, go back. It's been Republicans undermining and his own administration undermining him from the start, whether it's George Mattis, Jeff Sessions, Bill Barr, Chris Wray, people that he appointed that were put to him from his inner circle have just been sabotaging him the whole time. And it's time to make a list and primary all these people out.
Yep.
And also, never, ever, ever give another Yankee cent to the GOP.
Yep.
Right? The Republican National Committee down in Amelia Island sipping cocktails.
Thank you.
This sabotage can't be handled. There's no other Republican in history will ever be remotely as popular as Donald J. Trump.
Yep.
And instead of coalescing behind him, and simply because all he did was slow down the amount of money they can steal from the government and the taxpayer.
Sure. Look, I mean, here's the bottom line, right? And somebody I get a couple texts here I got to read. I've got Chris on hold in Australia. We're not going to take you today, Chris. I'm going to focus on people in the U.S. So if you could just understand that. But I've got a couple texts here. I just want to read to you, Mike, because you're absolutely spot on. And people say, "What's the way forward?" The way forward is you take the party over. That's the way forward. I mean, I don't understand dying in darkness. You take the party over. We turned 700,000 people out yesterday on a cold day in Washington. You think we don't have the numbers? We have the numbers and we have speed. We take the party over by primarying feckless Republicans who will not stand with us in the movement. That's what you do. The RNC went to Amelia Island for a resort right in the middle of this. So they didn't have to be around for the pending defeat on Tuesday night, and then they didn't have to be around on Wednesday. They got out of town and went to a beach and sipping margaritas and frozen cocktails with umbrella straws. That's your Republican Party. That's what's got to go. And you're right. I agree with you, Mike, 100%. Thank you. Let's see. Let's get to Mike in the Outer Banks. Mike, line 3, you're live. I'm sorry, Mike, you're live, line 2. Mike, Outer Banks, North Carolina. Mike, line 2, Outer Banks, North Carolina, you're live.
Hey, John, it's Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, one comment, too, on the app. If you get somebody to look at, you can never be on the app. And, like, I had to turn it off because it does the app
right,
and
right.
the call at the same time.
Right, exactly.
Hey, so the list of facts that you rattled off about 2 callers ago, I'd add one more to it. It's a very critical one, and that is the election fraud. And so everything that you've been saying, and I listen to a lot of talk radio. I love you guys and Bannon probably the most, and then all the others. But here's the problem. Everybody seems to go back to the way things were already. I heard Levin last night. I had to turn him off because of the same thing. My background, I've spent over 25 years in special operations and intelligence, okay, before doing what I'm doing now. And I've seen this go down, and I'm telling you right now, they have turned for a very long time now the tools that we have that we've built up, that I helped build, many of them, against the American population. So when you could explain to me how you are going to overcome the election fraud, then I guess I would say, hey, we can do all these things you're talking about. But until you can come up with that, and it's not going to happen, John.
Yeah, okay. Let me come up with it. Let me just tell you the pathway forward, okay? This is a very simple pathway forward, right? You overcome it in the General Assemblies. Let's go to Georgia, where I am now. Their General Assembly, and Mike, this is critical. Great question. This is why I have the best callers in the country. The president has said that he's right. Let's get to what Mike in Outer Banks, North Carolina just said. Beautiful area, by the way, Mike. Let's get to what he said. Okay, it's over because the fraud's going to get baked in. Wrong. Why? Let's go to Georgia, where you had the biggest fraud as far as I'm concerned. General Assembly convenes on Monday. Their top priority now is to change all the election laws, of which only General Assemblies and states are vested to do. They're going to get rid of mail-in ballots. They're going to get rid of drop boxes. They're going to get rid of no ID. They're going to get rid of no excuse absentee voting. They're going to get rid of you just send ballots in the mail and they end up in Starbucks. They're going to get rid of all that. Raffensperger, the Secretary of State, is going to get primaried. He is going to get beat by somebody 2-1. Done. Then you have a new Secretary of State. That's the way you do it. We have the numbers. This level of depression today is absurd. We have the numbers. We have the people. We have the movement. We have the speed.
John,
we had the numbers. 700,000 people. Look, they have the power and the money. And that's how they beat us yesterday. They have power and money. We don't. We got $25 donors. They got the power. They got Wall Street. They got the banks. They've got Goldman Sachs. They got the rhinos. They got the swamp. They got Karl Rove. They got all that. But you don't be discouraged.
That could potentially work might be if Donald Trump formed a third party, but I still say you have.
We can't form a third party. A third party takes years. There'll be no country left. Third party takes years.
When you have 80 million followers,
you take over what's there. It's already there. They're in Amelia Island. You think they can fight us? They're having margaritas with umbrella sticks as Rome burns. You think that's formidable competition for us? Come on, Mike. It is there for the taking. It is on a silver platter. It's like Napoleon said, I came back to Paris. I picked the crown up in the gutter with my saber. That has got to be our rallying cry. I picked the crown up lying in the gutter with my saber. I don't know how the hell we got 700,000 people in Washington in 5 days' notice. You know what that's called, Mike? Speed. You know what that's called, Mike? Numbers. We are going, you know what? You take a step backwards and 2 steps forward. We got to get through 2 years so that we still have a country. And when this 2 years is over, the number of Republicans in Congress and in state government that we have put there that are not going to sell us out is going to make your head spin. The whole thing is changing. Media, the landscape, politics. We're not going away. We're going to get bigger. And we're going to take it over, Mike. And look, I understand the frustration today. I'm in the fight. And I know you are, and I know my callers are. Don't be discouraged. Here's your competition. They're in Amelia Island eating bagels and croissants. We're in the streets. We're doing 700,000 people rallies. Who would you bet on? I bet on us. Thank you, Mike. Hang tough. Let's get to Don in Rice, Virginia. Don, line 2, you're live. Now you guys got me fired up. I'm giving you a pathway forward. Don in Rice, you're live.
Good morning, John.
Yes.
I went to the rally yesterday, and I got to the Capitol a little bit early because, you know, people were at other rallies. There weren't a lot of people there. But they started coming by the thousands. I looked down the mall, and they were just thousands and thousands, just kept on coming. Mm-hmm. And I was right up at the front where the barriers were. Mm-hmm. And the first thing I found kind of strange was that there weren't a lot of Capitol Police. Mm-hmm. There were no Capitol Police behind the barriers where they should have been. Mm-hmm. So there was nothing stopping the crowd from breaking the barriers and going up to the building, which most people wanted to get closer. Mm-hmm. And then the mass hysteria set in, and the crowd just rushed the building. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is what I saw happen. But I would like to offer you some positive things that I saw. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what they are is this. On the train in, I sat next to a young fellow and his girlfriend. Couldn't have been more than 20. And I said, oh, this guy's a liberal. He probably sees me as a Trump supporter, and he's not going to help me. But he gave me help, and it turns out he had a red, white, and blue mask on, and he was a Trump supporter. Mm-hmm. And I found that refreshing. Seeing a lot of young people, a lot of women, and a lot of older and younger women carrying flags and screaming for Trump. I mean, it was just unbelievable. It was there was mass hysteria is what caused the problem. Mm-hmm. But the lack of police and the lack of organization by the D.C. police was just, I mean, this is the U.S. Capitol. Mm-hmm. And, I've been to protests in D.C. when I was a younger man, and I always felt that the D.C. police were the best there are at this.
I agree with that.
Riot.
Not only that, but just courtesy. I mean, I've been stopped by cops, for having my cell phone on or, making a wrong, going through a red light by mistake. And in 4 years in D.C., I've had maybe 5 or 6 encounters with police, and I find the D.C. cops to be unbelievably courteous. That's been my experience. But go ahead.
I think that they were spread thin because the rallies were spread around town.
Right, sure.
And that's part of the problem. And they weren't ready for the rush on the Capitol because they were probably still at the other places. And I did notice a lot of them coming on bicycles from the other rally. But it was exciting. to see the movement. The people are real. They're not. I did not see any Antifa, and if I saw Antifa, I would know it. And there were no Antifa, and Antifa would have been crazy to be there. They would have been overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. And it's a shame that things happened the way they did. But I can't imagine the look on Mitt Romney's face when he heard that gunshot go off, and he probably stepped over women on the way out of the building. and it's just the way hey, the people are angry. The crowd was angry. They were festive, but they're angry about something, and it isn't going to go away. So I just wanted to offer you my experience, and I wouldn't have given it up for anything in the world. It made me feel young again.
Well, Don, thank you. And this is the beginning, not the end. All right, it's just another chapter. One chapter got closed. We open up. We start another chapter, right? And so, yeah, I mean, this narrative that 100,000 Antifa people were there and rushed the Capitol. Let's wait till the facts come out. But whatever. Okay, they certainly were there. Some of them infiltrated. It's all bad. But it's part of what happens when you have a big rally, right? I mean, stuff goes down. Bottom line is, we're bigger than ever. We're stronger than ever. We're mobilized now more than ever. It's loose. There's no one person now. But we got speed and we got numbers. And so we're going to take it over. We're going to pick up the crown lying in the gutter with our saber. And we're going to take the party over. And those of you that don't think we can, okay, sit on the sidelines until you feel like getting in the game. But somebody just texted me and said, we can't wait 2 years. Dude, you have assemblies, you have an election in Virginia in November. You don't have to wait 2 years. You start mobilizing now and finding candidates. But, I'm honest with people. We need to do a recall in Georgia. I sent Christine here. I had her do an analysis of it. We spent all Sunday on it. She laid it out for me. It's impossible. It is a waste of time. I don't waste time. We're not doing it because it's stupid, because you can't do it. You need 1 million signatures in 90 days. That cost, I don't know, $30 million. It's dumb. So let's deal with reality. Let's take the party over, and we're going to be able to do that. And so you got to keep the faith. We have the people. They know. They have the money. We have the people. I'll take the people any day. Don, thank you. James in Amelia, Virginia, on line 4. James, you're live.
Good morning, John.
Good morning,
for taking
James.
my call.
Always.
Yeah,
James.
look, I've been listening to you for about 8 months, and the day after the November election, I was really defeated. But then like on the 5th, you got me perked back up. You gave me faith and some hope, and between you and listening to Steve Bannon, you really got us charged up, thinking we could change something, and I really appreciate and thank you for that. Going into this election down in Georgia a few days ago, it doesn't surprise me and most of your listeners that those two worthless Republican rhinos got beat.
Yep.
As sad as that is, it didn't surprise me a bit. Yesterday, with potentially 700,000 patriots there that love our country and that love our president, it was a wonderful show of support for him. And, we cannot let the left and the media stereotype 80 million people and vilify all of us based on the bad actions of a few hundred. And at the same time, so many worthless Republican leaders in Congress at the national level, now they've turned their back on us, to vilify us, and not to allow the proof of the fraud. Mm-hmm. All your listeners know and agree with us is that it was systemic fraud at every level in the November election.
James, more than you even think, more than you even know. That's why I was so disappointed yesterday that we didn't get the facts out. I got Garland Favorito coming here at 9. He's got a hearing today at 4 p.m. When the facts come out, you're going to be. You think you're shocked now? You're going to be shocked. But we've never gotten them out, James. We've never gotten them out. That's the frustration.
But we can't drop it. We can't stop that.
No.
For the good of the American people, how do we do it?
We had a way to get Trump inaugurated, and that was kick it back to the states, right? The whole plan, get the fraud out, all the lawsuits, and then Mike Pence was the final arbitrator of that. And he bailed on us yesterday at 1 o'clock in a feckless, cowardly move with lawyers and 2.5-page lawyering up document. And he's done, right? Mike Pence is done. He's out of the movement. He's done. He deleted Trump's account, whatever. He's done. But now you got to take the party over. And it's there for the taking. This is what I'm trying to tell. Don't be down today, okay? Don't be down. Look, we cannot condemn violence. You can't do it, right? So, okay, I understand the frustration. But we win this by taking the Republican Party over, and we primary the rhinos, and we beat them because we got the numbers. This is what people don't understand. We have the power. They have money and swamp.
I like that plan. And, you know, I'm outside of Richmond here in Amelia County.
Yeah, man.
And, you know, I'd love to get with some of your team sometime when you're back in the area. Because there has to be, we've got to connect more people with you and Steve Bannon going forward. Because we can listen every day, but unless we have action items, unless there's better communication and coordination and putting it into play, then we're not going to get very far. And I think there's, like you say, a lot of people are ready. I'm so mad and frustrated. But we've got to harness that and put it into action in a nice, you know, in a forceful but peaceful way.
Yep.
And we're depending on guys like you and Bannon to do it.
We're going to do it.
Cannot be a two-tiered system of justice in this country. Like we're just getting slapped in the face.
Here's the first line of defense, James. If the Georgia General Assembly meeting on Monday, if they can get real election reform, right, and they can get rid of all this nonsense, if they can do it in Georgia, they could do it in Pennsylvania, and those that vote no or those that mealy-mouthed, you beat them in a primary. You get rid of them, right? That's what you got to do. Now, somebody texted in and said, and I'm so pressed for time here, everybody, I don't remember exactly who, but somebody texted in and said, hey, that's a waste of time because, you know, Stacey Abrams was stopping the courts. I mean, you can't operate out of how we're going to – you operate going forward. Eventually, some judge is going to go with us. And so you don't quit here because you had a setback. You fight harder, bigger, and stronger. James, Amelia, thank you. Got time for one more caller. James, thank you. Okay. Let's get to line 2, and let's get to Bob in Pennsylvania. Bob, you're live.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Good, man. Go ahead, Bob. You're live.
Yeah, listen, I was kind of like, yeah, John, hey, how you doing? So,
good.
Like, I only recently got involved in politics and everything like that, but let me just say something. John, they like these Republicans, these country club guys like Sass and McConnell and stuff like that, well, they'll never be supported by people like me.
Mm-hmm.
Like David Perdue, I'll give you an example. In November, what did he have? 49.73, and he never contested the results. There wouldn't have even been a runoff.
Right.
He just said, "Oh, golly gee, I'm going to take the high road."
And Bob, where'd that get him, Bob?
Where'd that get him? You know what I mean? Like these
they listen.
Where'd that get him? Hear McConnell and everybody browbeat us last night. Oh. Like, now they're going to take the moral high ground, these clowns.
Oh, God, Bob. I love you, man. I love you.
You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying, John? It's like,
yes!
I'm not one of these guys that Mitt Romney playing tennis. I could care less about that. Mitt Romney's worth $300 million. He doesn't know nothing about me.
And, oh, by the way, you know how he made his money? By crushing workers with his hedge fund venture capitalist company that would buy other companies, cut pay, cut salaries, cut jobs, and shipped them to Vietnam and China. That's how he made his money with that, whatever that Darth Vader company was he had. These people are ridiculous, man. They're such frauds. But look, it's going to be fun now. We're going to be calling them out. We're going to be we have a platform. We got people and we got speed, and we're going to be calling them out. What did you see what happened to Mitt Romney? I know, Kara, I got to go. Bob, did you see what happened to Mitt Romney when he was getting on a plane to go back to Washington from Salt Lake City? He got booed on the plane by his own constituents. In the airport, he was booed and heckled the whole ride down. It's over, okay? We have so much power, we just don't realize it. And we think, oh, we had a bad day yesterday. Oh, this, oh, that. Oh, Mike Pence, oh, this. Okay, yeah, it sucks. I get it. It sucks. But we're bigger than ever. And we're going to get action. And it's not going to be talk. And it starts in Georgia. That's why I'm here, dude. It starts with this General Assembly in Georgia. They are going to give you the blueprint for voter reform. Because the first thing we have to do is stop them from stealing votes like Stacey Abrams did. Stacey Abrams stole these fair and square because we gave it to them. No more. No more. Keep the faith. To Amy in Atlanta. Amy, line 2, you're live here on the John Fredericks Radio Network.
Hi, John. Good morning.
Hi, Amy.
So I want to totally agree with you. I just want to say a few things. I know that everyone is a little dejected this morning. I, too, am just a little in shock. And I wanted to second Mike. He called and he was part of, he's concerned about how do we overcome kind of the structure that's already in place, being a member of the intelligence agency. And I understand his concerns, but I've been doing research over the last 3 weeks about how Georgia patriots, and this will apply to all the states. And so I'm doing the research. I'm going to get it to you, John, and I am 100% in agreement that we have the structure in place already with the Republican Party. We do not need to reinvent the wheel. We need to take over the wheel and rebrand it, okay? It's called, we're just going to vertically rebrand the whole system. And I want everyone to who wants to make a difference. This starts at the precinct level.
Right.
There are hundreds and thousands of precinct committee men positions that are vacated right now in the Republican Party. If people want to get involved, it starts at that level. It starts at first. I want everyone to understand that we need John to stay in Atlanta and be the voice for us in Atlanta, but also across the nation. So I want to implore everyone, if you have not gone, and I don't know John, we've only spoken a couple of times, I want everyone to go on and support what he's doing financially, calling in, giving feedback. We're going to be together, but everyone's got to financially support John first and foremost. If you haven't done that, even if it's $5, please go and do that.
Thank you, Nancy.
Second of all,
Amy.
Amy. Yes. Well, it's helping us. We're helping John help us. Second of all, I want everyone to look up Dan Schwartz, okay? He is out in Arizona, and if people really want to do something instead of, and I'm not saying social media is a bad thing, okay? If everyone wants to actually be boots on the ground at the lowest level, what John is saying, the precinctproject.wordpress.com, okay? It's a little outdated, because the last time it was updated was March 8th of 2020. I want you guys to go on there. I want you to figure out what you can do in your state. I want you to reach out to the GOP in your state. I realize that people don't want to be involved with that, but we have got to utilize the framework. We own this situation. We own this process.
Yep.
And so we have got to step up right now, today, do the research in your own state, get on that website. I'm going to reach out to Dan and see how we can get, number one, get it updated.
Right.
Number two, I'm going to find out what vacant positions are available in Georgia.
Boom.
If anyone wants to step out and do their own state and we all get this updated, I'm on board. I'll give John my information. everything on that website. He's got a video. He's got a little pamphlet. Everything is on that website to say how you can get out in your neighborhood and canvass, and you can get grassroots support so we can change. This isn't going to change from the top down. Have we not seen that? Did we not watch what happened in the middle of the night last night? This is going to happen with changing at the lower levels and taking over and working with our state legislatures that are already in place. So I get it. Let's cry in our milk this morning in our coffee, but this is over with. We've got to stop that. My husband was there at the rally yesterday. I do agree with the vibe was great. It was deflated when Pence sent that letter out. I think that was a bunch of shenanigans on his part. It's over with. He's done with. Lindsey Graham is done with. Marsha Blackburn in Tennessee, she's done with. I am so glad that Kelly Loeffler is gone out of Georgia. We will figure that out. But what I'm saying is that I want people to get involved. Everyone who's on the call saying our republic is over, it is not. We the people are the republic.
Bingo.
I get it. It's a piece of paper. I understand that. I had an ancestor who signed the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Stone. I get it. But we the people are the republic. We are the ones that give that piece of paper life. Okay? So I'm a little in shock today, so I have a lot of sympathy towards that, and my family thinks I've lost are off my rockers. They're telling me, please stop talking about this. It's, we don't want to deal with this anymore. We just want to move on. Well, guess what? Those 80 million plus people who voted for Donald Trump, okay, we have surpassed him as well.
Thank you.
I get it.
Thank you. The movement has eclipsed its leaders, all of them. Trump didn't name a special prosecutor. Trump didn't fire Wray. Trump didn't do a lot of things, okay? A lot of things he didn't do that he should have done, right? He didn't prosecute Hillary Clinton from the beginning. You never got anything out of Durham. What the hell happened to that, Amy? Right? Nothing, right? There was all kinds of things he could have done, and he didn't do it. Yes, boom.
I want to say, I'm so sorry. I want to just say one thing. My apologies, John.
No, fine.
Listen, I want everyone to understand that had this I realize that we wanted Trump to, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 10 days or whatever, okay? I'm not throwing in my hat quite yet. I'm continuing to pray. God is the only one that will save the United States of America. It was built on God's principles. He is the winner. He is the final authority. Okay, not Donald Trump, not Mitch McConnell. Okay, I get all that, and I'm serious when I say that. I want everyone to understand that if November 3rd had not happened, okay, if January the 5th had not happened, if yesterday had not happened, when we saw what Pence did, we saw what Lindsey Graham did, we saw what Mitch McConnell did, we saw how the feckless GOP leaders who said, those 13, even Ted Cruz, said they were going to step up and say something, and they did not. If all of this had not transpired, Patriots, we would not know who the enemy was that has infiltrated us, we the people. And now we know, right? So that had to happen to reveal another Benedict Arnold, what's going on. So we've got to take that. We cannot cower in our homes and be afraid of what's going to happen with our money, our finances, our health, our kids. I get it. I'm on board with that. I'm a little concerned. I'm thinking, okay, what do I need to do with my finances? We're building a house. Do we move? Do we not move? Do we go in and buy we went online yesterday and we definitely bought magazines that we thought would be sold out, things like that. I'm concerned about that. But we've got to step up. We've got to step in and be precinct congressmen and women. We have got to go to these meetings for the GOP, the structure that's already there. We've got to figure out when those meetings start. We've got to show up, people. We've got to do that. We cannot just say this is done with.
No, it's the beginning. It's the beginning. Okay, and let me just say this: who's woke now? We're woke. All things happen for a reason. We're woke. I don't condone violence, occupying buildings. Okay, who's woke now? We're woke. They think we're going away. This is why I'm so passionate today. If you saw this rally yesterday, and forget what happened at the end, okay? And I'm sorry that poor woman got shot, and she was defenseless. That's I really feel I was praying for her family today. I don't know who she is. Not good. But if you look at the rally and you look at the speed with which we put that together, and you look at the fact that these two senators lost because they sold us out, we have all the power. And the Republican Party in Washington, they're at Amelia Island at a resort while Rome burns.
Yes.
I'm going to say it 5 times a day. Napoleon said, I came back to Paris.
Yes.
The crown was in the gutter. I picked it up with my saber. They think, look, they have the money and the swamp. We have the people, like Amy said. Amy, thank you. This is the beginning of a new system, of a new party with the same name. We're not going to start a new party. That takes years. We'll all be dead. You know how long that takes? How much money that takes? Forget it. Take over. They're giving it to us. They're defenseless. John Fredericks. Thank you, Amy. Let's go to Mike in Connecticut, line 1. Mike, you're live. Mike, you're live. Turn off your app, Mike. You're live on line 1. Mike, you got to turn your app off, Mike. You're live on line 1.
Hey, John. How you doing today?
Good. You got to turn your app off. Are you good? You there?
I'm good. How you doing,
okay.
John?
Go ahead. Mike, fine. Line. Yeah, fine. Good. Thank you.
John, how's it going today?
Yes, Mike, you're live. Go ahead.
Great. Well, hey, John, I wanted to thank you for all you do for everybody. I think it's tremendous, your voice, and I like the fact that you've told everybody to kind of pick themselves up, that the pity party is over and now it's time to move forward. I'd be curious to hear your take on what the role the president should play going forward. I feel that he still has a tremendous voice for this movement. He certainly has the money and the following, and I'd be curious to just get your take on what you feel he should do going forward. I certainly feel like he can. He has a lot of avenues in terms of communication and money, and what resources he can provide to fixing these elections and getting this party back on track.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what President Trump does. Right now, he's our leader. We'll see what he does. First thing he needs to do is get involved in the General Assembly in Georgia and be sure they fix the election fraud that went on so it doesn't happen again, right? His outcome is now cemented, right? Can't be changed. He's already conceded. So you're not going to change that. Maybe there's a chance something happens in the General Assembly. It just isn't going to happen, okay? So let's not give false hope. It's like people tell me to do a recall. I did that research on it. Can't do it. I move on. I'm not Don Quixote and neither are you. We don't have time for windmills and Alex Jones stuff. Trump needs to show leadership right now in Georgia. And he needs to put his resources behind an effort in Georgia by the General Assembly to fix the broken system, and they become the blueprint. All the hand-wringing today, I get it. People are frustrated. I get it. And I'm there for you, and I feel everybody's pain. I feel it myself. I've been here away from my family for 2 months. I want to go home. I get it. But look, we got to fight. And there's avenues. General Assembly, fix it. Georgia, model, blueprint, going forward. Start challenging. More protest. Take over the party. Primary the rhinos. Get rid of them. Make them feel the pain. Who the hell's McConnell think he is? McConnell would have even gotten re-elected had it not been for Trump and his supporters. So that's it. No need today for despair. No need for despair. It's a new beginning. It's a new inspiration. And what you saw, you saw two things yesterday. You saw the bad, occupying building, and a woman got shot. That's horrific. But here was the good you saw. Those two ladies, can't think of their name, the event organizers, got 700,000 people out in 5 days. Excuse me? You got 700,000 people out in 5 days? And you think we're losing? What planet do you live on? We're winning. We had defeats. We got to go forward. But we have an army of Trump voters. It's an army. based on principles of America first. And we're not going away. Now we're woke. Mike, it's going to be fine. We're going to fight through this, and we're going to win in the end. But we're going to do it the right way. I want to win the right way. I don't like an ugly win. Some people say, oh, you should just get an ugly win. You get an ugly win today, you're going to lose a bigger game tomorrow. I don't want ugly wins. Ugly wins breed false hope. And you know as a coach when you get an ugly win. Yeah, you won the game. You're happy about that. You go back, you look at the tape. If we play that way tomorrow, we're going to get our ass kicked. Not good. Win right. That's what we're going to do, Mike. Thank you. Ryan in Pennsylvania, line 3. Ryan, you're live.
You go back to look at the tape.
Go ahead, Ryan. Turn off your radio.
Oh, yeah, it's off. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so, hey, man, thanks for taking my call. You obviously are the light in the darkness right now.
Thank you.
Dude, the only focus we have right now is this freaking election system. I mean, it literally is. Like, I don't know. Like, it's like 100% resource. That's it. I mean, that's the only thing we can do right now. I mean, because, you know, when we elected Bush, we thought we had these wins. And, like, the more I look back on history, the more I realize I don't think we had any wins, dude. Like, I think we've been, like we got the Patriot Act, we had TARP, we had all these things under that man. Like, we didn't get any wins. We got losses with clouds in our eyes.
What do you think?
What I mean?
Yes. What do you think elected Trump? I used to go on the air and get criticized by saying George W. Bush, the worst president in history, worse than Obama. And people say, oh, my God, how can you say that? Because he's the worst president in history, ever. Other than the healthcare thing, whatever Obama did, we undid what he did. So what Obama did, he didn't hurt anything, right? All right, yeah. Medicaid expansion, whatever he did. Other than that, you know what? We changed the Iran deal. We changed this, changed that. George W. Bush, worst president in history. Patriot Act, surveillance, NSA, endless wars, raises taxes. Doesn't raise taxes, big deficit. Worst president ever. But anyway, Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, no, I mean, I served 2 tours in Iraq, and every time I was there, I used to stand next to my brothers and be like, I don't know why I'm here. But, like, when I go to these rallies and I do all this other stuff, I look around and I see all my brethren standing next to me, and I'm like, I know why I'm here for this. You know what I mean? And it's like, this movement, like, I love that one lady that just got on where she said that we've eclipsed, or you had said we had eclipsed our leadership, but she had brought up the point. And, I mean, there's nothing more true than that message right there. I mean, we eclipsed Trump a while ago, and you know, you get some of this crazy stuff that's been put out on Twitter and everything, and, like, it fired a lot of us up. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. I know for a fact we didn't break into the state building yesterday. Yeah, and I know that people just followed behind like a swarm. Right. And that woman that got murdered, she was murdered, man.
Right.
And, I mean, she should be the poster child for this entire movement. Like,
right.
These people don't care for any of us, dude. Any of us. Not a single one of these people in there. Right. And you're 100% right. I used to think we could change the party or get new party. Like, when the Tea Party started, I thought maybe we could change it all through, like, a new Tea Party. But what I'm hearing today, like you said, it takes years. And, I mean, we have to just, you know, Sharia these old Republicans. But you're 100% right, man.
Listen, you take the party over. They're not going to how are they going to defend it? Did you see them crawling on the floor with hazmat suits on yesterday? Did you see that? They were crawling on the floor yesterday. That scene should go down if you don't think we can take a party over, that when there's a little bit of trouble, the rhinos crawl under the seats and put on hazmat masks and go to Amelia Island sipping cocktails as Rome burns. If you think they can withstand our political assault, come on, dude. They don't stand a chance. Eventually, because you'll stop giving them money, they'll eventually run out of money too. And then it's over. All they have is money and swamp. We have people and speed. That's why I'm fired up today, man.
Hi, John. How are you doing today?
Never better. Thank you. I'm fired up today, Corinne.
Well, thank you for giving me a few moments. First of all, I would just like to ask everybody to go to the prayerfulwarrior.com. The prayers that are listed on there are deep and intense. But also, I haven't quite decided if I'm going to stay with the Republican Party or not. I've been a delegate for many years. We have precinct handbooks that have been printed up. We know how to do all of that. But this betrayal has been so deep, from the state legislatures to all those in Washington, D.C., even in your local areas, your counties, your districts, whatever. But we do know how their system and infrastructure works. And we have the people. And to allow the Republican Party to cry out and ask for us to come back and work within them, I'm just not sure yet. Yes, we could do that, and we know how to go up from the bottom and work in it that way, but that means that you're still having to sign cards that say, yes, you're going to vote everything Republican, and yes, you're going to do this, and yes, you have to give money to go to state
Oh, come on, Corinne.
conventions.
It's just a card you sign. Look, take the thing over from within, right? They can't. How many Corinnes are out there that have been working, doing the thing, hanging door knockers, putting things on windshields, making phone calls on your app, knocking on doors? How many Corinnes are out there? All we have to do is turn on them. That's all we got to do. That's all we got to do is say, okay, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all my knowledge, all my experience, everything I got, and in my district, there's a General Assembly member, there's a state senator, there's somebody who has betrayed our movement, and I am going to put that energy and call 10 people up, get a primary challenger, and beat them.
Well,
You do that 175 times across the country. You put the fear of God in these people. And then you just take the party over. You just take it over.
And I understand what you're saying, and that takes time to do that as well. I understand that. I think what we all need to do right now is just take a couple of days, lick our wounds, and then we're going to get up, we're going to rise up, and we will go forward. And I'm thinking the first thing we have to go after is the election boards. How do you get on them?
Now you're talking. You've got the experience. You got to go after the election boards, right? And who will points them and expose them, right? See, now you're talking my language, Corinne. Thank you. I have to go.